Taurus, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early May 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business. As always, start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes into energy and see what's happening for the lovely Taurus collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Taurus collective in early May? It is Taurus season, my good friends. Such a beautiful time of year. But what energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Taurus in early May. What's the vibe? What's the energy? And while we get this first card out, I just want to wish you all a very happy birthday from me to you. Whether your birthday's already passed, whether it's still coming up, I really hope you have a great one, my friends, and you should spoil yourself a little bit. All right, cool. So we have this interesting card that I do like, and I always say it is an angel, but it doesn't quite look like one, right? You can't really see the wings in the background. The huge card of spiritual protection, but also a card of focused intention, which I think is very important. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the May subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So yes, as you can see, we have this angelic figure with the wings, little Vitruvian man on the head, which absolutely represents like design and creation, the little baby. And this is huge focus. Now, for some of you, to me, it's like a guardian angel. So whether it's guide, spirit team, ancestors, I love when I get this affirmation of spiritual protection at the front end of a reading, because it tells us, like, whether good energies come up, whether rough ones come up, you are insulated, you are protected. Spirit is with you, and that's beautifully reassuring. But what is this angel literally doing? Creating. Huge card of manifestation right here. So again, I'm a believer that we're all creator beings. We all have the ability within us. It's about how we funnel it and focus it. So in this time, just know, like, your ability to manifest could be a little heightened, like things coming quicker, right? But it's also about focused intention. It does give me like King of Wands vibe, where it's like, all right, either you might be focusing on something a little too much, or there could be something else that might need your attention when this shows up. So we're just going to put him down right there. Beautifully protective, very creative. But let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here. What do we got? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So it was titled The Serious Warning. I do believe there may have been tower energy, a lot of funkiness. So again, whether it was like personal relationships or work related, it seemed like energy to just be cautious about. So there could be certain situations where it's like, hey, keep an eye on this, or hey, be cautious about it. And just know that energy could bleed over for a couple weeks, but we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going here. What do we got for Taurus, please? What do we got for Taurus? Thank you. Okay. 3 of Swords to start, huh? All right. We're not going to get too concerned about that, but it is definitely worth noting. That's for sure. I'm going to get that tucked in. Let's get 2 more, and we'll start piecing this all together, my friend. 7 of Swords. Okay. All right. I'm going to hold my comments for the time being. Very airy. So let's get one. And remember, my friends, I always say this, especially when we get some, cards that lean a little more challenging. This is just an energetic weather report, right? You are a creator being, like we already mentioned. These are all just like big energetic possibilities. Lots of swords, though. Lots of swords. And it doesn't necessarily have to be coming from you. That's another thing I get, especially with the 3 on the front. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, I've been commenting on it. I always love to look at elements first, because I feel like that frames the reading and gives us a lot of hints and clues about how the energy is going to flow. And this week, it is a little lopsided because the main part is all air energy. Now, air energy does have a lot of great aspects and great things tied to it that we are definitely going to inject within the reading itself, but there is some cautionary vibes, right? Because I always say when there's too much of one element in the main part, it does tilt the scales a little bit. So watch out for any things, situations that just seem a little off or a little off balance. But when it comes to air, the good aspect, it's very logical. It's extremely pragmatic. It's great for learning new things, getting information, people giving information. Deals with thought processes. It's very strategic and planned out. So I love it. It's very smart and intelligent type of energy, but it does speak about mental stimulation. So when we look at the downside of a lot of sword energy, it could be definitely overthinky. It could be an energy that could be cold, detached, mean, or an energy that's just very much in its own mind. And we even see that towards the back end. So we want to see which way this leans. Especially with the 3 in the front. I'm not necessarily saying this is like even coming from you. For some of you, this could be coming from a different source or just something that you're picking up. But let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number 1, we start with the 3 of Swords, the iconic image. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it many times over and over. The 3 swords cutting through the heart, right? Now, again, when it comes to any card, it's always on a spectrum. But the 3 of Swords, it's the same. Now, all 3s can represent group dynamics. All 3s can represent circles of influence and other people. So when we lead off with the 3, it's like, okay, maybe this is originating from somebody else. But the 3 of Swords in particular, on its low end, sometimes it's just a little gloomy, right? Like sometimes it's not feeling too festive. Sometimes it's an energy that feels a little blah. So in this time, somebody might be feeling that a little more so than you normally do. On the high end, though, remember, it's a big spectrum. This could represent pain. It could represent anxiety. It could represent very difficult situations and even things like betrayal. I'm not saying that's definitely happening, but this is most definitely an uncomfortable energy where it could either be a situation or a problem that we really want to identify. And again, it could be coming from somebody else. This isn't even my big concern within the reading, to be honest. Like the one that really has my attention anytime it shows up is actually the next one that comes out. And this card has been showing up in a lot of different signs this week, more so than usual. We have the 7 of Swords in the middle. Okay, let me get this 3 of Swords tucked right by that amethyst. And we see this little individual, they have their little fez on and they're making away with all the swords, right? This may have even shown up last week for you. And I always say, in the positive aspect, on the positive, most positive side of this card, it just represents something that's in the shadows, something that we don't quite see, something that's off our radar. So again, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a bad thing, but it's just something that could potentially catch you off guard or just something you don't even know yet, right? It's like some hidden information and it can be secretive. Worst case scenario, this energy could represent untrustworthy situations, untrustworthy individuals. This card shows up with like thieves and people that do funny things with finances, and it's just not the most trustworthy energy. So this can absolutely be a warning. Okay, and remember, this is just a weather report, right? Doesn't mean you're definitely going to encounter the 7 of Swords, right? You don't got to claim it. You can say, oh, nope, Kyle, not my reading. And that's totally cool. But moving to the back end, we have this 8 of Swords, which like compounds a lot of the energy we were picking up. See this person, they're blindfolded, hoodwinked, bamboozled, surrounded by the swords. Now, in its roughest sense, this energy can feel trapped. This could be an energy that feels like it's between a rock and a hard place. I got a very similar thing in the Virgo reading this week where it's like, okay, what now? What can I even do about this? This is absolutely like runaway train brain where it's like I'm thinking, stressed, anxious, nervous. So that's another thing I've been picking up in the earth signs overall is like this wound tight type of vibe. Now, the good thing about the 8 of Swords is that it's a very quick moving energy. Same with all these, right? It's like ripping a band-aid off. It's not like very thorough like earth energy. This one's like here and then gone, in and out. Like this energy moves quickly. And in its most positive sense, the 8 of Swords could represent liberation, freedom, feeling relief. That's a good thing. So I want to dive deeper on all of this, Taurus. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay. Let's get a good shuffle here. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message. which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation. I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Three of Swords. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages that you want to give to Taurus, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Three of Swords. Okay. Intriguing. Okay, so sometimes where you don't feel too chatty, or there's just certain things you don't really want to talk about. That's how this feels to me in the front. So we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Now, for some of you, if there's someone you've been wanting to talk to, or like waiting on hearing something, waiting on figuring something out, this could be a conversation of some sort that is a little bit uncomfortable. Like with the Three of Swords and the Page of Pentacles, again, maybe there's someone that you're really not wanting to speak to, or someone that you might be ignoring, or maybe someone that's ignoring you. All of that can be possible with this here. That could even be a gossipy energy. So there's a lot of stuff tied in here to communication or lack thereof. Now, the Page of Pentacles is one of your power cards, right? Usually they represent students and messengers. Usually they're, delivering communication. So in reverse, underneath the Three of Swords, it's like, all right, I don't really feel like talking right now. Or I don't feel like talking to this person right now. It's like there's a solitude that I'm starting to pick up here. Now, I am a big believer that every relationship, every situation, the bedrock is communication. But sometimes talking isn't too productive. I'm not going to say it wouldn't be, but like when I see the Three of Swords and the Page of Pentacles, it's like, all right, well, you can't force someone to talk. You can't force someone to share their feelings if they don't want to. So again, also watch out for miscommunications and stuff like that. There is this little tension that I'm picking up around the communication or lack thereof. And again, for some of you, maybe there's someone that you just don't feel like talking to, or there's just it's like, no, I can't. I don't have the energy for it. So we're gonna keep going. I feel like that's pretty simple and straightforward. I mean, unless there is someone that you're avoiding or ignoring, because that's another thing I'm picking up here is like an avoidance happening. It's like I'm dodging and weaving. So let's go in on the Seven of Swords. We'll see what that has. Hopefully it's not the gossipy energy. So why is that Seven of Swords here, please? Why is the Seven here? The gossipy energy. Okay, just, yeah, watch out for the gossip. Really. Um, Very odd, because I never, ever, ever pick this up in a Taurus reading. This might be the first time I've gotten this gossipy type of energy here. So the Ace of Cups got a very similar thing in the Aries reading this week too, almost like the exact same type of layout. Aces, very similar to pages, right? They represent offers, opportunities, communication, right? And when I see it under the Seven of Swords, best case scenario, this could be suppression, right? That's the best case scenario, where it's like I'm suppressing this. There's something I want to say, but I don't want to speak about it. So there is this little energy where it's like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to say. There's this odd energy. But worst case scenario, this could be very gossipy, right? The Seven of Swords with the Ace of Cups in reverse. This could be someone telling tall tales. This could be somebody lying and stretching the truth, so to speak. And that's me being kind. I think you get what I'm saying here, right? So either there is this huge lack of communication, miscommunication, or stretching of facts. And then, especially with this up here, it's like you tell one person, they tell 20 other people. So I don't know. There's this, be cautious with like who you talk to. I mean, maybe that's why someone might be in this energy where it's like, no, I don't feel like talking to anybody. I don't know why this is here. I don't want to say this is a bold-faced lie, but the Seven of Swords and the Ace of Cups in reverse is definitely not the best omen for communication. So there may be an individual where you might have to take what they say with a grain of salt. So we're going to keep moving forward. I'll see. We'll see what else shows up here, but it does feel very gossipy too. Feels like gossiping, talking, rumor mill type of stuff. So why is the Eight of Swords here? Okay. Okay. All right. It's not a permanent thing. That's good. Refrain, restraint. That's the name of the game here. That's like the best case scenario. So strengthen the upright underneath the Eight of Swords. Normally with strength, I connect that to someone's personality, who they are internally, um, who they are as a person at the core. So when I see that underneath the Eight of Swords, it's like restraint, restraint, restraint. So if there is something that you're not wanting to discuss or someone you're not wanting to speak to, it's like, don't feed the fire. Don't feed the fire. Don't feed it anymore. So whether it's feeding of your attention and intention, Eight of Swords with the Strength card is like, nope, I'm not feeding that any more attention. I'm not feeding that at all. So there could be a very big situation like we've been seeing that spirit wants you to just practice restraint, refrain, and don't feed it any more than it already has been. Because it's like the more you feed it, the more this continues. Like the more you feed it, the more we stay in this loop. Now, strength can also represent Leo. It's usually very loving, caring, empathetic as well. But again, to me, it represents someone on the inside. Sometimes it could also represent when spirit tests us, right? So, like when I see the Eight of Swords with this, it's like, oh, something's testing my patience. So, I know Tauruses are generally very patient individuals, but in this time, your patience could be running a little thinner than it normally does. Not the worst reading, I could tell you that. Like with the Three of Swords, Seven of Swords, Eight of Swords, I thought we were about to have a doozy. But this energy here is like refrain, restrain, don't feed it. Don't feed it attention or intention. So we're getting some very specific energies here this week. If you're in your own lane, in your own little bubble, stay there for now, right? But let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow card. If you kindly look in the box, position number 1, we have Three of Swords, Page of Pentacles in reverse, one of your power cards right there. There could be someone or something that you're just out of sight, out of mind, not wanting to talk to. There could be a topic you don't even really want to discuss. Maybe you're just not feeling too chatty in this time. And I think that's actually a good thing, especially with what we have coming up here in the front. But there is this energy that's either ignoring or just like putting something off to the wayside. And there's an avoidance to it too. Moving to the center, we have the Seven of Swords with the Ace of Cups in reverse. That's where it gets really dicey because that's when it feels like somebody potentially gossiping, stretching the truth, twisting some words. So again, just really watch out for that. Watch who you talk to and about and what you talk about. That could be very important here because it's just a lot of funkiness around communication. Moving to the back end, we have the Eight of Swords with strength in the upright, restraint, refrain. Don't feed it attention or intention, where it's like the more you feed it, the more it perpetuates. So whether that's a thought, whether it's a habit, whether it's a person, whether it's a situation, it's like the more you feed it, the more it continues. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for Taurus? And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's go. What do we got here in the shadows for Taurus, please? Okay, cool. So the Ace of Wands could be a little bit of a firecracker, and that's what we have. And I always say with all aces, even this one in reverse, they represent offers, opportunities, conversation. And you see the imagery on this Ace of Wands, it is fired up. I always say, especially the Ace of Wands, they could be like mini towers, right? Where it's not like a big, old, big ground shaking tower. It's like a mini one to like really watch out for. The good thing about the Ace of Wands, it's an energy that regenerates its energy. It represents vitality, motivation, passion, and drive. But in the reverse, this could absolutely be like a live wire wild card type of energy. So again, watch with the patience, watch for certain things that just get a rise out of you when this shows up, because this could be like explosive conversation, especially with like the stuff we were seeing within the main part of the reading itself. It's just really fired up. So for some of you, that's a great thing, especially if you're regaining and regenerating energy. For others, it's an energy to be cautious about. So we're going to let it chill right there, my friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the May subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. My May calendar is up and the spots go quick, so you might want to check it out. But for the May subscriber surprise, we're doing another winner's choice. I will choose 3 lucky subscribers to win either a copy of the Tarot of the Owls, beautiful deck, and it's really nice, or 3 custom made pendants from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of the cards that showed up in this week's reading, which one caught your attention most or resonated with you most. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in the posts tab. My friends, much love, and I'll talk to you soon.